Josh, God and you are a majority. We got to remember this. If we remember this, that God, this is all it comes down to in the end. There's a seeming, really, there's just God. Okay, but let's make things practical. If we just say there's only God, there's no need to talk, and we don't make videos or don't do anything. But within the dualistic realm, okay, there is a seeming you or me, and then there's God. Where's he at? Okay, everywhere. That's the play. That's what happens. The pure consciousness, you can call God, individualized itself as localized, individual, autonomous seeming consciousness. The game or the goal in life, the purpose, the highest purpose, is for this localized individual consciousness to merge back into its universal self source. It never does that completely. If it did that completely, we would cease to exist. God wants to exist. What does exist mean? Press out, exist, like I exist. If there's only white, there's no white. So there needs to be some differentiation. I said it right that time. That's the game. Now, people start getting, when we're too attached or identified with this individual localized consciousness that took the form of a human matrix machine, if we're too identified with that, which we need to be for a while, it's a divine mistake. You got to be identified with it in order to transcend it. This is the whole game, evolution, transcendence. If we're too attached or identified with this individual sense of self, then we're going to start, we're more susceptible to feelings of loneliness and bitterness to other people. You know, why is everybody so stupid? I can't hang out with anybody now. Like I'm spiritual and nobody else is spiritual, and so I feel lonely. Life is hard. I go to work and they just, mess with me and stuff, and I'm not part of their collective mindset, and so I pay for that. They punish me without knowing it. They somehow feel inferior. It's like, God, why am I getting punished? You see, we gotta bring our attention back to the fact there's just you and God. When it gets right down to it, that's all there is. This isn't a positive affirmation thing, a way of looking at things that's a good idea. It's not a technique. This is what it is. When we die, when this body dies, there's nobody with you. There's you and there's God. The localized consciousness and the universal consciousness, the space in which the localized consciousness animates in and plays in. That's all there is. When you were born, same thing. Okay, so get used to that now. Realize this now. Be happy about that now. That doesn't mean your feelings are just going to vanish. This has to be assimilated. This has to kind of explode inside as a realization. But we start by realizing this. Anytime we start feeling, like I said, inferior, insecure, wishing people weren't stupid, if we start character assassinating them in our mind, it's time to check and see what's going on here. I'm identifying too much with the human show, and so therefore I have too many expectations and projections about how people should act, because if they just act right, I'll feel better. That's the root of it. That's what happens. That was my issue. I felt lonely my whole life. I just was like, I would get mad. What's a good example? Like, I couldn't go anywhere and do anything. There would always be a sense of separation, and I would get mad at people, like, because of that. They wouldn't even be doing anything wrong. They'd be feeling happy and talking, and they want to engage with me, and I'd be pissed off at them. They didn't even do anything, and then my energy would lash out to them energetically. They would feel it. And they just wouldn't want to be around. They're like, why is he bothered? Like, I'm trying to be nice to him. That wasn't the point, see? That I wasn't interested in you being nice to me. I wanted to feel connected. And I didn't feel connected. You're talking about stuff I don't care about. Like, I'm not interested. Your jokes are stupid, and like, let's talk about, like, what the hell's going on here? Like, this existence, what is this thing? Like, this is weird. Let's talk about that. Then they think I'm weird. then I get mad at them. I get resentful. So at some point, God will send you somebody, though. If you really need somebody that understands you, He'll send you somebody. He sent me somebody at like 16 years old. I needed somebody. I was gonna. I don't know what would have happened. So he'll send you somebody just to kind of help you get started and let you know you're okay. This is the thing. This is why I'm making a video, so let you know you're all right. If you can get caught up in that mental soup of thinking like, man, there's something wrong with me. I'm different. Like maybe this spiritual the benefits aren't worth it. It's like, where are my people? Like I'm here to connect and have camaraderie. Where's it at? You know, what's the point of being spiritual? I might as well do some drugs and dumb myself down so that then I can at least connect with people. The mind will come up with stuff like that. So I'm trying to point that out so that you can become aware of those tactics the mind, the ego uses to keep you centered and identified with the human self. And when you catch it, you remember. You remember God and I are a majority. How do you apply that? How do you remember that? What does that mean? You bring your attention inside. Nobody understands me, the mind. Wait a minute. Wait, there's something put me here. Something's with me right now. How does that feel? Is that with me? Does that get me? Yeah, it damn sure gets you. Like it created this show and it's running it. I'm just gonna keep my attention there because it just feels better. Oops, I forgot again. I'm back in it. Why does my mom act like this? Or why does my friend do this? Or why does society act like this? Or why does nobody it takes 10 minutes to explain something that you should be understood in 5 seconds? Like, wait a minute. This is the movie. This is what's happening. Who cares? It's all passing. Just keep the attention here. Keep the attention here. I explained to this person 10 times what to do. He still doesn't understand. In fact, he says he understands, but then he keeps doing the wrong thing. I told him in 10 different ways. Each time he says he understands, but I can look at him and tell he doesn't understand, but he doesn't know that he doesn't understand. Sorry. It's all right. God's playing through him like he doesn't understand. No problem. And he's playing through me like I understand. None of it. Who cares? Don't get caught up in the movie show. Just come back. Go sit in nature. Get grounded again. Go to the beach, wherever, a private beach. Don't go with a bunch of sense stimulation. And it's like, okay, nature's cool. Everything, the leaves, they're doing their thing. They're not worrying about the other leaf and why this one looks more dark, and and the mosquitoes, they don't care. It's nothing personal when they're trying to bite me. They're doing their thing. Okay, no need to trip. Their life is running itself. Let me remember that. Yeah, God, can you help me? Like, I remember that now. Can you really help me remember it? He's like, no, you got to renew this memory as often as you can. At some point, it becomes more habitual, sure. It becomes more automatic. But it's like we got to somehow work towards that, or be willing to, put in effort in terms of bringing our attention to what's really true. We got to do that. Now one could say, but are we really doing that? And all that? No, not really. The life force is doing everything, but it appears like we're doing that. So cooperate with it. It appears like there needs to be some sadhana and some vigilance to self-remember who we are. Okay. Don't let the mind come in and say, yeah, but there's really nobody here to remember anything. See, that's mind again. That's mind coming in the back door, playing the role as like God, wearing the God hat. You don't need to remember anything. This is the problem with the non-dual videos and a lot of spiritual videos. They don't acknowledge, like, bro, you're in a human form. You're doing something. There appears to be a doing. And if you dismiss that too much, you're back into mind. Okay? So just, wow. I'm in Florida, and there's a swamp, like, near, and mosquitoes, they like swamps. And so that's why I have a jacket on. It's like 100 degrees out, but I need a jacket because mosquitoes will bite me. It reminds me in Asia and South America, the girls, this is a little side note, not just girls, guys, actually, but more girls, they have this thing, they don't want to be dark. Like, they don't want their skin to be dark because society thinks if your skin's darker than collective society, somehow, what do they think? I don't know. You're less than or something. It's not attractive. So I remember I was in Thailand. It was really hot, and I seen a girl, a young girl. I have shorts, no shirt, and Vibrams on. That's how I do it when it's hot because it's hot. So she had pants, socks, jacket, gloves, hat. You couldn't see any skin. I was like, is she like aesthetic? Is she like belong to the Swami Shivananda ashram or something? Like, what's going on? So then I asked her, I'm like, why are you wearing all these clothes? She says, because it's hot. Isn't that a good answer? I thought she's messing with me, like joking. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. It's cold, isn't it? But no, she was serious. And then I started, talking to others, and I realized they don't want their skin to get dark. And I'm like, damn, they gotta really, like, you gotta live with that. Like, you've adapted that conditioning to be a truth, and now you gotta just you gotta suffer when it's hot because you don't want your skin to get dark. Just do you ever think about, like, in some decades from now, like, or 60, 70 years, like, do you think that's really gonna matter? Like, this body is dying every day. Like, what difference does it make? Now, I'm not saying go out in the sun at midday, but geez, check your conditioning. Do you have any conditioning? Make a list if you do, so that you can let go of it. This is good. This is why we need introspection. There needs to be some practical, vigilance to stay on top of stuff. And when you start, like the purpose of the video is to help you be aware when we're too identified with the human construct. Because when we're aware of something, then there's the possibility to transcend it. And if you feel like it's too hard to transcend it, you're still attached and identified with the human form. Because the human form can't transcend anything. It's by default very limited and stuck and susceptible to habits and addictions and attachments and all that. So then that's why we need to invite, to recognize there's a greater power in us that has all the transcendent power. If you can't feel it, then pray. You're praying to this power that's your own deeper self, but sometimes that's the mode that we got to work in. So you pray, God help me. Like, help me transcend this deep human identity. The emotions are really strong right now. The thoughts are really strong. It's like convincing me that I can't do this. Can you give me a shift in my perspective? Can you change my thinking? Because I don't have the power to do it. When you surrender to the fact that you don't have the power to do it as a human construct, power is available. But at the same time, allow the power to come when it comes. Don't say, well, I prayed, nothing happened. It's working. It's dissolving stuff maybe you're not aware of, so that then you will feel the power. So don't give up, and God and you are a majority. That's all you need. When we're established in that, God will manifest as other beings to come and give you this human camaraderie. That's also nice. There's not we don't have to all be hermits and just there's some that are designated to do that, but if that's not most people's destiny. We got to trust life and existence, and God's taking care of things. The people will come, the camaraderie will come when it comes, when it's supposed to come. We might need to get more centered. Our broadcasting frequency signal may need to be more established before we can attract those people. Otherwise, we'll attract them, and then we'll do something to get rid of them, to kick them out or something without knowing it. We'll have some habits or patterns, or we'll get all emotionally out of whack over something. So see, maybe we're not ready to attract that level of camaraderie yet. Just trust there's a higher intelligence that's running this. That's my message. All right, see you.